Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, how an overseas contractor with a crush on me cost someone their union job. Yeah, I disabled the phones. Nobody told me they were Sicilian mafia. There's an app for that. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. How an overseas contractor with a crush on me cost someone their union job. This is a fairly recent tale. Manning senior line. I frowned when my phone rang. My caller ID lets me know before I pick up what product the call concerns and more importantly which company is calling. If you've read my other tales, you know how much I appreciate contractors over at Camel Telecom. So I was pleasantly surprised when I picked up. I featured Fatima on her very first day manning phones before. In that tale she was an absolute newbie without even the mandatory training to do her job, but that was several years ago, and she may now be close to being their best agent, and would likely fit right in over here with the core union frontline staff if she wasn't in North Africa. I don't say this about a contractor often. /u/Bytewave senior line, this is Bytewave, you may assign me your. Already got the ticket? That's always nice. Sometimes contractors take over a minute figuring out how to do it. Fatima, Bytewave, hi. Been too long. How are you? /u/Bytewave, pretty good. Teleworking today, almost no calls. Sunbathing on the balcony with the laptop and the wireless headset. How can I help you? Fatima, I just have a small network issue, a few consecutive even potentials offline, looks like a PMD issue. Unless I'm wrong, that'll require a network tech to fix. And she's right about the issue. Technically a road tech can fix a PMD, but when we don't have eyes on the problem and several potentials lost service, we send a network tech because there are many situations where they are ultimately required. /u/Bytewave, good work. I'm filing the network ticket right now. You may let your customer go and explain it'll be taken care of within 8 hours. Fatima, I already let him go. I knew what the problem was and you explained the SLA to me, remember? Yeah, I recall, but I don't expect contractors to remember what I tell them. I can count on my fingers those that do. /u/Bytewave, splendid, then we'll stay on the line for a few minutes as I fill this up. Fatima, cool. Hey, I hope you don't mind, but I stalked you. /u/Bytewave, stalked me? She laughs. Fatima, found your Facebook profile, haha. You're cute. Mind if I add you? Well, that was unexpected. Better believe there wasn't a single contractor amongst my FB friends until that day. Within 8 seconds I found her profile too. She's very friendly, and admittedly cute too, not that it matters, as I have no interest in LDRs. One detail struck out, the fact that none of her pictures have headscarves of any kind, and that's pretty brave where she lives. Oh, why the hell not? /u/Bytewave, sure, why not? Your network ticket is ready, network Tango-40995671. As she thanks me, my cell phone beeps with the friend request, and I accept it as I end the call, thinking the matter over. As I get home that evening, it's well over midnight where she lives, but she's online and messages me on the chat. Fatima, hey. This profile says you're single, winky face. Well, she's pretty direct. I recall how one of my former bosses, average looking, who spent a couple years over there overseeing the birth of Camel Telecom, told me the girls all crushed on him. Apparently there's a big fetish for Western guys. Can hardly fault it, given how bad women generally have it over there, but I'm not exactly in the rescue foreign damsels in distress business. We still chat a bit. She asks me if I'd like to visit North Africa, since I've never been. /u/Bytewave, how could you know that? Fatima, you installed a Facebook add-on that shows all the places you travel to. And she's right. I was probably drunk. That's gotta be P*RN for the NSA. I swiftly delete that thing, but I'm 99.9% confident that info might as well be public data for the Five Eyes until the day I die. /u/Bitewave, haha, fair enough, closest I've been to your home was the Adriatic coastline. One of my best experiences overseas, really. Fatima, you need to see the other side of the Mediterranean. You have vacations this summer, right? I could show you the Nile and the beaches and the pyramids. Okay, I said they were North African so far, but I don't think it's very problematic to admit that Camel Telecom is Egypt-based. While I wouldn't mind seeing Egypt eventually, it's pretty darn easy to read between the lines. When an Egyptian girl proposes stuff this aggressively to a Canadian, it usually means she wants to trade the sand for the snow. I politely explain I'm not planning foreign trips this summer, my vacations are all booked up. She doesn't let go that easily. Fatima, oh, I understand if you can't come on vacations. But why not ask to get assigned to do training here for a while? It's a great opportunity you guys have. Those at your company who are here get free accommodations from what I heard, full pay, and a bonus for working overseas. That's a surprisingly detailed amount of info, but it's all true. The non-union employees assigned to oversee training in Egypt get ridiculous bonuses, all expenses deals and free everything while they're over there. Didn't expect frontline Camel telcos to know that. /u/Bitewave, even if I was willing to uproot myself for a year or two, that's not an option. Senior staff is unionized. One of our most sacred rules is that we can't physically go teach contractors anything, even though my job largely entails teaching you things over the phone every day. You can get kicked out of the union and lose your job for this. She expressed surprise and then dropped the bomb. Fatima, but what about Pierre? He's senior staff like you, and he's been here training new hires for 9 months. WTF? I log on my telework station, pull the schedules. Pierre, as I thought, is listed as being on extended sick leave since 9 months. Now, I filled in as union rep years ago, I know what this potentially entails. I ask her to confirm with details, and she does. She even sends me a cell phone pic of him teaching an obviously Egyptian class. I explain to her how this shouldn't be possible, and she's a bit worried, but I reassure her nothing she said would come back to haunt her, and that we'd chat again later. Next morning I text 911 to my buddies at the union, because they do it to me every time they want to talk to me about something serious. 2 hours later there's a crisis meeting at the union HQ. The meeting opens with the president has qualified this meeting as a war room, you are all therefore sworn to secrecy for the duration of these proceedings. Well, that escalated quickly. I have a laser-printed photograph of our sick colleague teaching a class of Egyptians, headscarves and all. Camel Telecom does hire a very nice percentage of women, which is one of few good things I can say about them. Now I know not everyone is pro-union, but this was a bomb in our world, and there was no way I was sitting on that info. Union personnel training contractors in person is a violation of the work contract, and the company is contractually bound to ensure it never happens. All clauses related to contractors are hard-ass, and the first of them says that should the company default on any of its contractor-related obligations, the arbitrator must order the end of all contractors if this is demonstrated. The fact that the absence of Pierre was explained through a health-related lie only compounds the issue. And so the union goes to war. A clause in the WC says that none may occupy a union position without being a member of the union. Another says that no union member may be dismissed without a vote from the General Assembly. This is the nuclear option. In theory, if the GA fires a union member, the company has to either fire them too or rehire them in a non-union position. This previously had been exercised exactly twice in over 40 years. Admittedly, I hadn't realized things would escalate this quickly, but an emergency GA was called by the executive over this. I thought they'd just talk him down, but it wasn't exactly in my hands anymore. The General Assembly called the next weekend barely met quorum. Barely meeting quorum means that all you've got there is hardliners. The executives presented the facts as they knew them, and then someone went to the mic and demanded a motion for dismissal of Pierre, as a union member to be put in the Varia. My name was thankfully never mentioned when the evidence was presented, and to this day, nobody outside the war room know I initially leaked it. Unions have a very low tolerance threshold for contractors. As evidenced by the fact that Pierre was dismissed from the union with nearly 90% of those present in favor. The company complied with the work contract and ended his unionized employment only to immediately offer him a non-union teaching position in Egypt, obviously. But to avoid an arbitration process they'd have lost, they also gave us a letter of agreement that solved several problems we had with current contractor practices. Pierre didn't lose much, aside from job security I suppose, but the speed at which all this happened and the amount of anger directed at him genuinely surprised me. He's essentially persona non grata to this day, spoken about much like how a state would treat an hostile double agent or something. Fatima didn't care much when she learned the full story. She's still trying to convince me quite aggressively to visit Egypt, and is promising me a great time if I do. I've made it clear I wasn't interested in helping someone immigrate, but it didn't faze her one bit. If anything, she insisted that wasn't her goal, and she loved her country. I'm letting this whole thing blow over, but she may yet convince me to let her show me the pyramids and the nice spots along the Nile. It's not like I haven't always wanted to see these things. But I sure as hell won't be the next Pierre. Yeah, I disabled the phones. Nobody told me they were Sicilian mafia. More insomnia, more tales of tech. Normally, this would have been a matter for internal security, and action would have to be authorized by a manager. But given I was at the bottom of the seniority totem pole when I became senior staff many years ago, I worked graveyard shift for several years. Graveyard means that security is closed and I'm the next go-to guy. Sometimes graveyard even means there's no manager on the floor, there's only one guy, and suits get sick too sometimes. So a panicked girl from customer service, the sales department, not tech, calls me because their procedures indicate I'm the guy if security is closed after 9 p.m. /u/ByteWave, senior line, this is ByteWave, you may send me your ticket. Sabrina, sorry, no ticket, this is a call from CSR? Security closed 2 hours ago. I got an alert on a 3 weeks old account, no payments in yet, with nearly $50,000 in roaming charges from Italy. I've never seen such an amount. Isn't there a cap on roaming for new accounts? And no manager on the floor. Perfect timing. /u/ByteWave. $50,000? Okay, that's not what I usually deal with. She gives me the account number, I open it up and look at the detail. Tons of roaming calls, but most importantly huge roaming data use. It's the only way to rack up that kind of bill even with the ridiculous roaming fees. There's 4 phones in the account and their data usage all look like they're torrenting 1080p**RN all day long. /u/ByteWave, okay, this seems pretty clear cut, but procedure calls for a manager to authorize a freeze. I have none on my floor exceptionally, do you? I just need a name to put in. Sabrina, there's one left. I went to her first, but she didn't want to make a decision. She said it was up to security, and if it was closed, up to you. Typical. The last thing low-level suits want is to make an actual decision if there's any way to pawn it off. CYA rules in effect. Fine, I'm unionized, I'll take the hit. /u/ByteWave, why am I not even remotely surprised? Fine, I've never really done this before, but in this context I have effective authority. I'm freezing roaming on all the phones in this account. The customer will be notified by email and voicemail that due to excessive roaming usage we need an immediate down payment to restore service. Sabrina, oh thank you. I don't think we'll be seeing that money though. /u/ByteWave, neither do I. Thank you for your good work Sabrina, most agents wouldn't have bothered. Sabrina, can I add you on in-house instant messaging? I desperately need graveyard contacts at tech support. /u/ByteWave, yes. Only if you contact me for things like this. Trivialities go to the front line. She was happy, I was certain I did the right thing, and soon after I went home and watched TV till sunrise and then went to bed. Graveyard shift screws with you. The next evening, 15 seconds after I walk into the office. Boss, did you disable 4 phones last night? /u/bitewave, yeah. No manager on the floor, judgment call. $50K in roaming on a 3 weeks old account. Pretty obvious fraud. Boss, yeah, well, I got an earful from the fraudsters a few hours ago. They paid their bill in full while screaming at me for the service interruption. /u/bitewave, okay. I'm surprised and apparently made the wrong choice, that sometimes happen with judgment calls. 3 years ago you were doing my job, right? 2,300 hours, no manager, $50K roaming on a 3 weeks old account. What do you do? Boss. Freeze the roaming. /u/bitewave, that right there is why I give you perfect marks on manager satisfaction surveys every 6 months. Pretty sure any other suit here would have stayed angry a while, because I didn't guess right. So, who the hell racks up a $50K roaming bill and happily pays it while being angry because we stopped it? Boss, mafia. My Italian is a bit rusty, but I'm pretty familiar with the slang they used to curse me, and I looked at the geodata, they're near Palermo. And I validated the IDs on this account after we got payment, they're fake. /u/bitewave. I froze Sicilian mafia's roaming burners? Boss, yeah. Add an alert to the account saying it is not to be frozen under any circumstances without written consent of either any director or a manager at internal security, no matter the amount due. /u/bitewave, okay. If we know they registered an account under false IDs, shouldn't we do something about that? Boss, no. They paid. Not going to piss them off 2 days in a row. /u/bitewave. All that is needed for evil to triumph is for good men too. Boss, funny. Anything else? /u/bitewave. Nah, I'm on it. Whether this is a tale about my incompetence, the mafia's burners, or corporate greed is up to the reader to determine. All of Bitewave's tales on TFTS. There's an app for that. From a senior staff meeting called at the behest of direction. Boss, as you all know, we've had a long string of in-house smartphone and tablet burglaries these last years. It's become a real issue. Dozens of thousands of dollars of lost hardware. They always remove the SIMs, we can't do anything. So we're bringing in new lockers with digital locks that only senior staff will have access to. The technology required for this to work requires that you voluntarily submit some biometric data, but Senior Staff Union Steward, nice try, wow. Dream on. Boss, but we know it's not any of you. We tried various policies to restrict access to the high-end devices but none worked. Locks didn't work, manager authorizations to access the room didn't work. We would never use this data except for the purpose of locking down lab hardware, we're willing to sign a letter of agreement to that effect. Senior Staff Union Steward, can't collect biometrics. SB.2.14.c, of the work contract. Nice try. Almost everyone applauded the steward. Nobody wants their biometrics to be hoarded by the company for obvious reasons, especially as we have WC clauses saying it can't be allowed. /u/bitewave, the union is right on paper, but why didn't anyone go for the obvious solution? Boss, which would be? /u/bitewave, as loath as I am to say these words, there's an app for that. Actually about a dozen. Nobody ever heard of anti-theft software in this room, really? I take a long sip of Irish creamed and overly honeyed oversized coffee. Obviously everyone heard of it, why nobody thought it might be worth using on our devices given the scale of the thefts is beyond me. /u/bitewave, I can install the right app on all Android lab devices, and we'll have our iOS fanatic come up with a solution for the iPhones. Nobody ever steals W8 phones, but if you insist, we'll do that too. Then it doesn't matter anymore who steals what and removes SIMs. As long as a device is active, we'll know where it is. Why has this been an issue these last couple years exactly? A moment of silence. Boss, anyone has reasons to believe this wouldn't work? Coworker, if anyone believes that this wouldn't work, you should accept their resignation. This should have been done couple years ago. Plenty of stealth apps gets this done now, and they all work fine. Boss, so the staff biometrics aren't strictly NES. Senior Staff Union Steward. Are going to fly, whereas actually asking professionals will always give you better results? Yes. Boss, fine, I'm up for a 60 days pilot. If there are any incidents, we'll revisit the issue. Sounds cheaper than biometrics lockers anyhow. /u/ByteWave, there could be workarounds, if we're dealing with professionals who systematically root everything to make sure, but it's very unlikely. It's likely just a couple frontline kids moving them around, in which case your problematic theft rate will be over. Now, we were promised pizza at this meeting, weren't we? Where's the pizza? Newest senior, got M on phone, ETA 4 minutes. Moral of the story, as usual, is to never use a bazooka to swat a fly. Of course, as always, that is standard operating procedure. Part 2 here. All of ByteWave's tales on TFTS.